Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to NBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Happy commitment day to you, right? I mean, it's Monday. Juices are flowing. Word got out last night through a very cryptic tweet from a player who obviously played with Dylan Raiola's dad in Detroit via Dan Orlovsky. Buzz stars flying around. Dylan Raiola fitting a pop. We let you know on Patreon. Today's the day. Merry Christmas. All right, Dylan Raiola fitting to be up in the commitments list. And it happened today. Dylan Raiola, a member of the 2024 University of Georgia commitment class, okay? Soon to be signing class come December. Going to get it out of the way right now. I think this one holds, all right? I know there's some Ohio State fans out there, some USC fans out there that are probably hoping today's news is just that. It's just today's news. It's not something that is solid. I think this one's pretty solid based off the stuff that we heard today following his commitment, phone calls that he made, decisions that might be being made around his football future, things like that. This dude's a dog. He's going to be locked up a dog. And what we do around this program typically is we are known for our film evaluations. That's what we do. So before we get into any opinions, before we get into any, thoughts about what this means or what this brings to Georgia, before anything, we're going to shut up and grind the tape because that's what we do here. And I think this is, bro, like Georgia was dominating college football before they were getting five-star quarterbacks. Like, I mean, Brock Vandagriff is one, but that's an in-state kid. This is a guy that everyone told Georgia fans and Georgia recruiting coordinators and Georgia people, this isn't the type of quarterback you sign. He's not an in-state kid. He has no ties outside of his uncle to the University of Georgia. This is not one that you should land. This is the guy that Lincoln Riley should land. This is the guy that Ryan Day should land. This is not Kirby Smart's type of quarterback. This is not the type of dude you land. Think about the five stars you landed at the position. They don't come from outside the state of Georgia. You've been fortunate enough that the guys that you have signed that have played for you have been from your state. This is an out-of-state superstar that has came to the University of Georgia and that will be coming to the University of Georgia this December. And like the kids like to say, I'm him, right? That's what they like to say nowadays. I was listening to a song back. I can't remember when this was released. I want to say early 2000s. It's a song called I'm Me, right? By Lil Wayne. And there's a line in here that is, absolutely what I'm thinking about right now from Kirby Smart's perspective. It says, yes, I am the best. And no, I ain't positive. I'm definite. I know the game like I'm reffing it. This is the Carter 3, the New Testament, and I'm the God. And this is what I bless him with. The University of Georgia fan base today got blessed with the God of college football right now, just bringing to the timeline Dylan Raiola. Just absolute Dylan Raiola news. Welcome in. Hit that thumbs up button. We got a great show for you guys planned tonight. But without further ado, let's shut up and let's grind some tape. Boy, this going to get hot, man. I'm telling you right now, this was a 17-minute highlight tape. I only recorded 5.5 minutes of it, and it was 5.5 minutes straight. I kept thinking I was going to go to a new clip and be like, I don't know, we might not need this one. Lasers all over the damn highlight tape for 17.5 minutes. And when we get done watching it, when I tell you that it's his sophomore tape, it's his sophomore tape. This is 18 months ago. This is nothing compared to what the dude even is now, and we're going to get to see him this June. In about a month from now, I'm amped to see that guy out in L.A., but without further ado, let's shut up and let's grind the tape. It's like dude took forever to get to the tape today. Here we go. All right, so the first 7 clips of this highlight tape are, my name's Dylan Raiola, and I throw biggity bombs. All right, here's the thing I want you to notice as we go through these clips. Now, he's throwing this ball from the backside 45, 5 yards into the end zone from the middle of the field. Okay, so off rip, that's a 60-yard throw. But what I want you to count, right, as the ball, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, ball caught. So what that is telling me, and what we will continue to see throughout this film study, is Buddy not only has a rocket, but this dude has some of the best deep ball touch we've evaluated on this channel since Carson Beck. If you go back and watch our Carson Beck film studies from high school, all we talked about was, my God, it looks like Russell Wilson throwing deep balls. This is the same exact thing I think about when I see Raiola. This ball drops in a bucket. This is not a football player or a quarterback, rather, that feels like they got to throw it 60 yards on a line because that's all the arm they got. This is a dude that throws 60-yard rainbows and lets his guys run up underneath it. What does that mean for an offensive coordinator? Well, it means that he's going to get the ball out faster and earlier, okay, because he can throw it in the air longer, right? If the route takes 4.5 seconds to run and Dylan Raiola's ball travels 3.5 seconds in the damn air, we only got to protect for a second, right? Isn't that ideal in the world of college football nowadays? Like this ball right here, he lets it go really, really high, right? The trajectory and the arc of these footballs are phenomenal. Another ball from the 50 that he's going to throw well into the end zone, and I believe that one's dropped. Okay, that one a little bit more on of a line than the last ones, but these deep balls, guys, they really, really, really float and land perfectly in buckets like that right there. These bucket catches, right? These balls where receivers have the ability to run up underneath them, man. Those are special arm type of throws, special big boy, monster arm type of throws. This is a ball placement throw he mixed in here just for the hell of it. The first 5 clips, I always love how quarterbacks, really good ones, they kind of stagnate or station rather their highlight films. The first 5 throws of this clip, guys, where I'm about to throw it 75 yards. The next, kind of portions of these clips, we'll start seeing ball placement. We'll start to see athleticism like this clip right here. We'll start to see all the ad-lib stuff that he can do as well. This is a massive kid, okay? I don't necessarily love the way he drops the ball down, but hey, I'm not going to coach it out of him because it makes him who he is, right? It's the athlete that he is, right? When he extends plays, he's going to drop the ball. All the great ones do. We just got to make sure we have positional awareness and spatial awareness that when guys are around us, we protect the football, right? Again, the great ones do. His ability to play off script is akin to a guy by the name of Patrick Mahomes, and I do allow that type of comparison. I don't think that comparison, even for like a Caleb Williams, he's a different animal in my opinion. Okay, this guy I would compare to Pat because he looks like him. Caleb is 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2". Okay, like short arms. Seems like he has little hands, but they're really big. But like he has shorter arms and more compact frame. Raiola looks just like Mahomes, like physically and stature-wise, and his ability to ad-lib is that athlete really making those other guys look bad? Is he really running away from those guys? He doesn't look like that great of an athlete, but he gets the job done. It's that multi-sport athleticism that Raiola and Mahomes have. This is another version of that, what I'm telling you, that ball that comes back down. You see that? That ball is right here coming straight down. What this does, guys, is this guy right here, first of all, he's cooked, absolutely burnt. But these guys that play defensive back, they are not trained to track the ball over their shoulders. Okay, in fact, most of them are trained to look through the eyes of the receiver, and then when they see the ball or when they see something, they put their hands up, right? Or at the last minute, turn around, try to swat the ball away. These are not guys used to tracking the ball over their shoulders. So the higher we put it up in the air and the more time we allow people to see it and track it, the more opportunity our guys got to come down with it. Now we've entered the stage and the portion of this film study where Raiola's finna start taking some big boy shots. I love that this kid, and he was a kid at this point, at 15, was standing in there taking big boy shots. This pocket's going to collapse on him. There's bodies all over him. This is an anticipatory throw. What does that mean? He's throwing it now where there is no space. The film that you're seeing, the look that you're seeing as the ball is being released, makes it seem as if there is no space having been created. That is a fallacy, all right? At the end of the play, there will be enough space, right? Boom. And there it is. He drops it in the proper bucket that it needs to be dropped in. That's a great touch ball and a great anticipatory throw and a great big boy throw. Staring it down, watching it come down the pipe. That's another pick of it right here, or another clip of it right here. I think we get this from the tight a little bit later. This is staring in the face of pressure, waiting for something to clear. Okay, I believe he's trying to hit this slant in this window, but he's getting contact now. Boom. Gets licked up, and he's hitting this guy running into this small opening. So if we see it from the tight later, you'll notice that this linebacker standing in the middle of the field, this nickel corner is standing at the hash. He's throwing that in between these two bodies while getting hit. That's a great ball. That's a great anticipatory throw. There's that word again. And absolute staring it down. Watching it like just literally blow him up right in the middle of the play and take it. This is a prime example of what I was just talking about. Look at this corner. This corner is in absolute no man's land. He will never win. Right now, he is in trail. You can't see him, but now he just turned his head around. He's trying to find the ball. Guess who has been tracking the ball since it left the quarterback's hand? The receiver, because he knows where he's going, right? So the receiver's tracking it. And guess what? Now the corner just turned his head around, and he slowed down. So insto facto space is created. Right now, boom, ball gets, again, dropped into a bucket. But we can't drop balls into a bucket if we don't put enough arc on them, right? We're throwing them into a bucket. We're not dropping them into a bucket. This is that clip one of the clips I was telling you about. That's just silly. You know you're waiting for things to clear. Okay, look at the window he's throwing in. We got this guy here, right? We got another linebacker over here, and we got space or guys at our feet, right? A great throw. Touch throw. You can see how his body lifts. I notice he does this when he is throwing touch balls. He will get up onto his toes. He will hold on to it a little bit longer, and it will float, okay? That's what I'm talking about. That up on the toes, we're trying to extend. We're almost trying to pop this ball, okay? We're trying to get some loft onto it. Again, not a professional quarterback, never have been, but I am a adamant thrower of the football. I love throwing footballs. I do this. When I'm trying to put touch on a ball, I reach up onto my toes and give it a little pop, right? That's what brings that ball back down with touch and softness, right? Not all these lasers that he's throwing all the other times, like this ball right here. He's ripping this ball. This is a back shoulder ball, okay? A back shoulder at 45 yards. All right, he's ripping that. He's throwing that one as hard as he can, right? That ball is going. I know it seems like we're dragging these things out, but guys, we're only a minute and a half into this 5.5 minute video. Every single one of these needs to be on here. Okay, every single throw I saw in this 5.5 minutes that we're watching today was like a holy shit moment. Pardon my language. Like this right here. First of all, probably not going to be able to do it in college. Not something we teach, not something we allow you to do. Throw back against the grain, not something we do. The only other thing, okay, and not to say that I got questions about this football player from a film standpoint, because I don't. But check this out. Did you notice the ball dropped first? Okay, now his arm action, before I get like flamed for Brooks being a mechanical guy who knows nothing about playing the position, I'm just telling you, I don't love the first movement being down, okay, but his arm action is so damn fast and he's so powerful, okay, that it doesn't matter. But that right there, that dropping to our waistline, that's not necessarily something we teach. That's not necessarily something we want, okay? But he gets out of it, meaning he gets back to what I call layback. He gets back to his hands being back behind his elbow, okay, fast enough to where it's not a problem. Did you notice that? Where his hands ends up back behind his elbow? It's not quite a problem. But I'm just telling you, if there were anything to clean up, it's that dropping, and eventually we get back to it. But normally, hey, we just pull the scat, we just get some retraction, we get into layback immediately. We don't necessarily have to go all the way down to our thigh or our thigh board or our waist, okay? That's the only thing I see where I'm like, hey, if there's any improvement on this 5-star thrower, it's that right there, okay? That dropping of the football. If we can just eliminate that, you are a flawless prospect, Dylan Raiola, if you're listening, which you're probably not, all right? We can just clean that one thing up. That's the only thing I see from a physical standpoint watching this tape. Because God knows the arm is one of one. I mean, one of one. It does not get better. That's that pop again. Watch him pop up onto his toes as he releases this football. You see that? Just he's trying to put air on the football. He's trying to put touch on this ball so this guy can run to space right here. I love watching quarterbacks throw with touch because everybody and their mama is going to come on television today and tell you that Dylan Raiola's got the strongest arm they've ever seen, and he's got a 70-yard arm, and he just throws it, man. He just throws it. It's the touch throws on these tapes, guys. It's the touch throws that make you live on Saturdays and survive on Sundays. Being able to layer the football like that right there. I mean, this ball's thrown so early. This ball's thrown with such touch. The tight end right here has just now looked at the football, and that thing's just going to float right into his hands, man. I've seen so many non-ball catchers, right? I'm talking about running backs, some tight ends that fight the football. Non-ball catchers, when they get that ball like jumped on them, they tend to drop it, man. But when you float that sucker out there, perfect spiral, and let that thing fall, that's it. Now, this is the stuff that gets guys drafted in the top 10 nowadays in the NFL. The ability to escape, the ability to make first guy miss, throw rockets on the run. That's what it is right there. That is a special, special football play right there, as is this one, if I remember correctly. Yeah, no, this is Guys, that ball wobbled on him at the end. There are ways to clean this up, but this is where the Mahomes comparison, this is where the term generational thrower gets thrown around with this kid a lot for this reason. Okay, he is – it is very, very special. He does stuff like this on tape all day long. That ball, guys, that ball does not make sense. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to throw – you're not supposed to be able to throw this football. This is definitely baseball backgrounds, but it's also God giving him that, right? God gave him this. God also gave his uncle this too. Matthew Stafford threw balls like this all the time, okay? Every time that dude let it rip, it was like, damn, okay? I don't know how much of this play extension stuff is going to continue in college, but, dude, I promise you right now, I can watch Pat Mahomes tape on Sundays, what he's doing right now on Sundays, and watching him scramble around, and I'm like, damn, how's that work? How's that guy keep getting away? You know, some guys are just gifted. Some guys just have the ability to be a better athlete, the best athlete that they need to be in that circumstance. And this is an example of that. Just being as good of an athlete as we need to be right now. I want to see if this stuff translates over. And we're going to know immediately, right? If the first time he pulls the ball down, he's just immediately swallowed, like, there we go, right? We get our first boring throw here 3.5 minutes in. It's a little looks like a little corner route right here. And I mean, he just throws a little laser. That's the most boring route and throw we have so far on the list. That is too. I like how early this ball's thrown though, right? He's made this decision right now. Check this out. He's made this decision to throw this ball right now. That's not Guy ends up wide open, but that ball was not thrown when Guy got open, right? That ball was thrown with him going to the open grass, right? Anticipatory throws, right? Throwing it before we are confident or 100% knowing for a fact that we're seeing it. More on the toes touch throws. Watch these, okay? This is just him toying with folks. All right, I love this. I don't know if enough Qs do this. I don't know. Maybe I don't study enough of them, which is damn sure not true. But I don't see enough quarterbacks like manipulating their motion to add in touch to their throws like that. Did you see how long that ball took to land? Watch this. Ready? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. 3.5 seconds. That's a 25-yard throw. He throws that ball from the 40, 35 yards. He throws that ball from the 30 or from the 45, and it lands at the 5. So it's a 40-yard throw, and, well, that's why it took forever. He made it look so damn easy. He just flicked that thing. Damn, bro, we're 3.5 minutes in, and then I was about to turn the clip off after that one and be like, surely that's enough, right? Surely that'll take like 20 minutes to watch. Wrong. He keeps doing shit like this. What am I supposed to do with that as a defensive coordinator, right? This goes beyond the Lyneth Whitehead just committed to the University of Georgia, former Tennessee running back. So there's news there. Jonathan or Christian Kirby, if you're watching right now, go ahead and tackle that news and self-publish for your boy. I'm a little busy, as you can see. We're just going to let y'all do that one. It's been enough news today. Actually, let's address this before we get any further. We got a bunch of audience in here. So this is a Tennessee running back, a former Tennessee running back, 6'2", 225 pounds, going to have 3 years of eligibility left. This is in direct response of the way that room got beat up in the spring. Okay, if y'all remember, midway through the spring, it's like just Dejon Edwards with a hammy pull and Branson Robinson with a busted up foot. And that's about it. Cash Jones was the starting tailback opposite of Roger Robinson in the spring game. You needed depth. That's what you got today. I don't think this dude starts for you this year, but he's got 3 years of eligibility left, so he's going to play for you at some point. That's a good, needed addition. All right, let's go back to the tape. Where's the tape? Right here. Here we go. That ball kind of wobbled on him, didn't it? I like how he loads his back foot, though. Watch here. Presses off that back leg. All we are as quarterbacks is producing ground force. All right. Who in this world, what athletes need to produce ground force? Golfers need to produce ground force. Baseball players need to produce ground force. quarterbacks need to produce ground force, okay? And punchers, guys who throw punches, they need to produce ground force. Everything we can create with regards to releasing the football starts from our toes that are cleated into the ground, right? It's all we have. It's the only thing that surfaces us to the playing field, right? Those are basically the identical throws back to back right there. I love how he steps off the midline, right? This is the midline of his body. He steps just off the midline with that left foot. You see that? What that does is it allows his torso, his midline of his body, it allows it to rotate. And I guarantee you where this pink towel is, this right hip will fire in like continuity with his arm as it comes through. Did you see that? That's what it's all about. Like, that's as clean as mechanics as we can get it, except for the ball dropping. Okay? I still think the ball drops just a little bit for my taste. Right there. We go down to the hip, but we're back up so daggone fast that it may not matter. But again, if there's one thing to clean up, there's also something I loved at the end of this. Watch this. Boom. Okay, he knows, and he's sprinting to the end zone right now. Okay, I heard a SEC coach the other day. Matter of fact, I'm going to stop doing that. I was on the sideline. I heard a Georgia coach the other day say this. 10 fingers. If you don't touch 10 fingers on your teammate when he scores, you don't care. You don't care. 10 fingers. So from now on, every time I go evaluate football players, if you don't put 10 fingers on your teammates, okay, if you don't go touch your teammate and celebrate with him when he scores touchdowns, you're not a guy. You're just no longer a dude. 10 fingers on the teammates. I see that right there. I see some excitement in us scoring the football. Boom. He's sprinting right now to the end zone. We just didn't get a clip of it. Okay. That's a drop, but that's a ball. That's a daggum dot. We get some boringness here with some unscripted throws, showing that the platform is nice and technically sound. And then we get back to the magical stuff. That ball arrives so violently. Okay, so violently. He's like off one leg and just throws a missile right there to that dude's face mask. We got a couple more clips here that I wanted to see. Again, man, I don't know. I do not know how much of this translates, okay, because he is playing high school football. But here's what I know. 6'3", 225, 230 pounds. That son going to go be big. Like, he's going to be big. He's going to be one of the bigger football players on the field. He will be bigger than all but 4 or 5 of the guys on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage from him. So maybe this stuff does translate. Maybe him being able to throw footballs with bodies hanging on him like this, maybe it will translate. There was a reason we left the last minute onto this clip. I don't remember why. This is an absolute missile. Actually, he checks down here, so good on him. He takes care of that one right there. Let's see here. Oh, I love the boot actions. So does Bobo. All right, this is the last one we're going to watch here. This is part of the lure, part of the luster with Dylan, outside of the fact that he's the number one player in the country. Arms like this, quarterbacks like this, people like this allow you to open up different portions of your offense, right? Where we're going to run naked boot and we're going to slip this guy all the way to the corner. Most high school quarterbacks would never have this in the system, where we're going to sprint this way and we're going to throw that guy to the back pylon while we're moving this way. That doesn't happen. Coaches don't put that in the system. You're not supposed to be throwing those balls. You know who has this in the system, and I bet they stole it from? The Chiefs. All right. That ball is ridiculous. So is this one. I mean, it's all over. It's 17 minutes of that right there. There is very little boredom in this highlight tape. There is very little, chicken and rice, as we call it on this channel. You know, the boring stuff, the stuff that gets you all the results in the world, but never makes it feel good. Okay, that's what most highlights are that are 17 and a half minutes long. This one is not. That ball is thrown in daggum triple covers, but it's the only window. Here's what I love about this clip. Okay, 2nd and 8. He knows he's getting pressure. All right, that is a very, very tight window, but he's got to throw that ball. He's got to throw that ball, and you can see him. You can see him slow his mechanics down. Watch him. Okay, let's slow this down for you. You can see him slow his mechanics down so he can get some more touch on this ball. Watch his body slow down. He'll get back onto his toes. Check this out. Ooh, he just slows down just a little bit, give that ball a little bit more touch, and puts it exactly where his guy needs it. I am all over it. I think there is no way, ifs, ands, or buts about it to say anything other than that this dude is a what we call a generational thrower of the football. Okay, no doubts about it. That dude throws the football as well or better than most humans that ever walked this planet, right? Holy crap. That is a highlight tape and a half right there, okay? Let's talk through this. How did we get here, right? How did the University of Georgia get to this moment? First of all, I want to take a moment. We got a bunch of people in here. Please hit thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you're sitting around and you watch that for 25 minutes, you're like, damn, this dude knows football. This dude can talk a little bit of football. I appreciate you. Subscribe to the channel. It's basically all we do here. The Film Guy. Shut up, grind the tape. That's what we do. So shouts out to patreon.com/Brooks Austin. If you were over there, we told you right after the national title game, we felt really, really good about this happening. So I know everybody in this world races to the we broke the news type of stuff. I'm not one of those people. I don't even think I do a good enough job bragging about what we do over on Patreon. But if you know, you know. If you're over on patreon.com/Brooks Austin, you know that you are the most up-to-date University of Georgia fan that ever existed. We do not allow anything other. Patreon.com/Brooks Austin. Let's talk about it. For starters, Georgia was always going to have the leg up here. I don't know if you know, but Dylan Raiola's daddy was the center for Matthew Stafford for 9 years in Detroit. I don't know if you haven't heard that, but if you haven't heard that, wow, you live under a rock. I admire your ability to ignore information. Honestly, I wish I didn't have to read half the stuff that I read on a day-to-day basis. But Georgia was always going to have kind of a leg up here, so much so that they were his first ever offer. Like, this was a dude from birth that was going to play college football. Georgia, the University of Georgia, was his first ever college offer. So it was kind of this was going to happen. This has long been planned out and coerced, okay, between Matthew Stafford, Mike Bobo, Kirby Smart, Todd Monken. Buster Faulkner played a major role into this. Shouts out to the Georgia Tech offensive coordinator, no longer a member of the staff. Obviously, Monken, no longer a member of the staff. So this has long been one of the options. It was always going to be one of the options. And people will hear that and they will say, but Brooks, wasn't he an Ohio State commit for like a year? Wasn't there like a long time where he was an Ohio State commit? Yes, there absolutely was. I don't know if you remember, but there was this name in the 2023 recruiting class. I saw Andy Manning, Arch. I think it was Arch. I think it was one of the Mannings. There's a Manning family or something like that. Anyways, there was this guy named Arch Manning, and Georgia was recruiting him pretty heavily. Okay, Georgia, there for a while, there was a real chance that the University of Georgia and Arch Manning were going to be partners. Like, they were going to go into business together because that's what it was. And I'm going to be honest, during the whole entire Arch Manning thing, there was an obvious buzz. There was an obvious, hey, this is what I'm hearing from sources that I talked to, that Raiola wanted no part of the Arch Manning sweepstakes, wanted no part of the buzz, and wanted no part of the Manningisms, wanted no part of the machine that is the Mannings, okay? And if you remember, Arch Manning commits to Texas, Georgia is in the running for Arch Manning. Dylan Raiola pops to Ohio State because the word was he kind of wanted to wrap these things up. I don't know if you noticed, but dude's not really out here. Like, he don't really, not tweeting a whole bunch, not Instagram living a whole bunch, like, not for the machine. Just kind of enjoys playing football, it seems. Like, doesn't enjoy doing all of the hoopla that comes with being a five-star football player. It seems to be like a guy that wanted his process wrapped up and done, and kind of the only two things: wanted it to be done, wanted to be away from the Manning machines. Well, Manning ends up going to Texas. Georgia loses out on that. That's in June of 2022. If you remember, 6 months later, Dylan Raiola decommits from Ohio State right after National Signing Day. National Signing Day is December 8th, I believe it was. Dylan Raiola decommits from Ohio State December 22nd. Once Arch Manning's kind of fate is sealed. And if you guys don't remember, Arch Manning was never an option at Ohio State, was never going to be one. So I don't know if that was why he went to Ohio State. He obviously went to Ohio State because he liked Ryan Day and liked Brian Hartline and liked the receivers and liked what Ohio State does for quarterbacks. But it was also because he liked the idea that Arch Manning was never a possibility there, ever. And then once Arch settled, boom, Dylan Raiola back onto the market. So now that brings us to today. But there was also a major timeline impactor on that arc, right? Which was Todd Monken leaving from the NFL. Okay. And if you've been on Patreon, patreon.com/Brooks Austin, you've been hearing about this for a while since literally Monken went to the league. You've heard me address this topic several times, but Monken leaving didn't necessarily take or put a hit on Raiola's recruitment. And here's why. Raiola, in all of his conversations based off the sources that I talked to, when he called up to the University of Georgia, or when the University of Georgia called him, or when there was any conversations on campus or whatever, those relationships started, ended with Kirby Smart. Everything about Dylan Raiola's interest, most of it about Dylan Raiola's interest with the University of Georgia, per my sourcing, was Kirby Paul Smart. That's why that dude wants to play at Georgia. Of course, offensive talent is a factor. Of course, location is a factor. Of course, national titles are a factor. But the relationship never shook, not once. From the moment in January when we felt they got a great shot after that national title, okay, and today. Not once. Not because Todd Monken left. No. We never wavered because we knew. We knew that the relationship was between Kirby Smart and Dylan Raiola. And, you know, I think it's really, really easy, or it was really, really easy for national media correspondents or national media pundits or anyone that's not closely associated with the University of Georgia to label Kirby Smart as this generational defensive mind, right? I think that's what he is most known for. When people think of Kirby Smart, now they think of two-time defending national champion, the like reigner of college football. But before that, Kirby Smart was just this defensive guy that, you know, may one day figure it out and may figure out the quarterback and all that, may figure it out. But this is the reason Kirby Smart is who he is. This is why he is dominant, right? Because when you are around him, I got in all caps, you know for a fact that when you are around Kirby Smart, when you are in his presence, when you are just around him, he is a very special human being. You know, for some reason, there's something about you when you are around him that resonates. This dude's got the secrets. It's palpable. The secrets to greatness, when you are around Kirby Smart, it feels like he's got them. Okay, and if you are anyone who aspires to be great at football or anything related to football, you are probably drawn to this human being because he is very, very special. And people will hear that and they will say, Brooks, that's so corny. After 4 years, that's the most in-depth answer you got as to why Kirby is who he is? Yes. And if you think I'm bullshitting, you've never met him. You've never been around him. You've never been in a room with him. If you go in a room with that guy, if you listen to him do his post-game press conference, you sit in the room and you are a football human, that dude will move you. He will walk into the room. You will feel his presence immediately. You will know. You will know. The moment that dude walks in, you will know. Okay? I've always been asked, people ask me all the time, Brooks, who are you a fan of? Brooks, who are you a fan of? Do you have any fan of? Brooks, do you have any fan of? I've always said I'm a fan of great coaching. That's what I'm a fan of. I admire people who coach this game right and people who have players that play it right. And that is Kirby Smart. So, yeah, I'm a fan of the way that dude goes, the way that dude operates. I'm a fan of everything about him. Because I, like, bro, I'm telling you, I don't even mean to say bro. But, dude, I'm telling you, we're off script at this point. I find admiration in people who work harder than me, and I don't know if I'll ever work harder than Kirby Smart. I won't. I just won't. Okay? And I don't know if I'll ever be as great at what I do as that dude is at what he does. I just won't. But by God, I can aspire to be because holy hell, man, that guy's great at what he does. And again, it's palpable. When you are in the room, you feel it. When you are in the room, you absolutely feel it. That dude's got juice. People will hear that and they'll say, man, that's corny as shit. But I'm telling you, it's the real. Do you want to know? I got it right here. Do you want to know why Kirby Smart is a two-time defending champion? Why Georgia is the machine that they are right now? It's two things. One, Kirby Smart works harder than you. Right now, if you're a coach listener, he works harder than you. Fact. But number two, he gets his people to work harder than your people. Work your ass off. Surround yourself with people who work theirs off for you. That's the secret. I mean, ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's the secret. So, what does it mean? What does it mean, Brooks, other than you sitting here saying you're a massive fan of Kirby Smart? Well, I'll tell you what it means. Let's start with the obvious. This is now the second quarterback commit for the University of Georgia in the class of 2024. And I'm just going to let you know right now, Dylan Raiola, number one quarterback in America. I think it's indisputable in 2024. I don't think you can even come close to a second. Okay, you look at that tape, it's clear as day. That guy's a guy. All right, he's the number one guy. It's clear. But at every other school that Georgia considers a contender to their regime, a potential bump in the road, okay, who are these programs on the recruiting trail, not on the football field? Because when I say this first school, you're going to think I'm stupid because they just beat the dog piss out of them last year. Oregon's in that mix. They will always be, as long as Phil Knight is alive and cares about football. Oregon will be in the mix on the recruiting trail. I don't care if I'm the head coach. Okay. Oregon, USC, Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, Clemson. Those 6 schools are schools that Georgia will bump heads. You can throw LSU into the mix. Those are the 3 schools that Georgia will continue to bang heads against with on the trail perennially. Okay. And of those schools, this is how their 2024 quarterback board went. You ready? Dylan Raiola, a sizable gap. Ryan Puglisi, Julian Sayin. In whatever order that Puglisi and Sayin is, I know Alabama obviously likes Sayin over Puglisi. They took the commitment, right? There are certain schools that have 2 over 3. There are certain schools that have 3 over 2. But here's the board. Dylan, those 2. So Ryan Puglisi ain't some 3-star. That's what he was when he committed to the University of Georgia. But by God, he is not one anymore, and he will never be, okay? He will be recruited moving forward as the best available quarterback in the 2024 class. He is committed, but that is the way he will be pursued. Do you understand that? Everyone listening right now, you understand that? So when he tells Dogs Daily, when he tells me today, I'm 10 toes down, Brooks, I am going to compete at the University of Georgia. I am a Georgia Bulldog. First of all, I love to hear that. I told him this today. If you want to be great at anything in life, you're going to have to be willing to compete. Not only willing, but you got to seek it. You got to be out here looking for it. You got to be looking for people who will push you to your greatness. That's really easy. That's really easy to sit here and say when you have a microphone or when someone asks you a quote about whether or not you're going to stick it out and whether or not you're going to be a dude that wants to go compete. It's really easy to say it. It's really freaking hard to do it. It's really freaking hard to do it. Because again, I'm telling you, it's really hard to avoid what's about to come for Ryan Puglisi. Because he's not just some project quarterback. This is not it. These are 2 highly ranked, highly qualified SEC caliber starter quarterbacks in one class. This is not even the situation that Alabama had last year where he had that goofy kid from Texas or whatever his name was, who's probably, I don't know, not going to play a snap at Georgia or Alabama, and Dylan Lonergan. Okay? Eli Holstein, not going to play. Nah. All right? The Lonergan kid's going to play. All right? As a dude. But those were 2 quarterbacks that were in the 30s, 40s, 50s. These 2 quarterbacks are dudes. All right? And they're in one class. And if they stick it out, it is because of one thing and one thing only. Well, 2. 1, Ryan Puglisi wants to compete his nuts off. And that is commendable in and of itself. 2, that dude loves Georgia. This makes no sense would make no sense in conventional terms. In conventional terms, everybody, if there were a manager or an NIL representative or whoever the hell is advising these kids nowadays outside of their parents, would look at that young man and they say, son, it is not good business for us to go there. It is not good business. And you know what? A part of them might be correct. But he ain't never going to know. He ain't never going to know. Look, these guys play a position. These guys go to schools. These guys are recruited as such that they are going to play in the NFL. That is what they believe. In their heart of hearts, that is what they are shaping and selecting to go into. That is what they want to be molded into. And by God, if you can't beat Dylan Raiola in college, how are you going to beat one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the world at what you do in the professional ranks? Odds are, I'm not saying you won't, because maybe he's one of the best 5 by the time he's done, right? Maybe he walks into the league and starts dominating. But odds are that's probably not even going to happen, right? Odds are Dylan Raiola walks into the league and he's in 3 years, if that is what turns out to be, odds are he's like one of the best like 20 quarterbacks in the league. And then year 2, he's maybe one of the best 15. And then year 3, maybe he's an MVP candidate, right? That's how progressions of things work. But if you can't go in there and compete with that guy right now, maybe this is not your path. Maybe being a first-round draft pick won't be your path. But by God, if you go out and figure it out, and you go out and test the waters and find out, and there's only one way to do that, and it's committing and staying committed to the University of Georgia and going into that room and battling it out. And guess what? If you lose, if you don't win the job, and it's not, and the writing is on the wall, it's not yours, it will never be yours, guess what? No harm done. No harm, no foul. Transfer out, go where you need to. Again, man, it's really easy to say those things. And man, if he sticks it out, he will be one of one. He will be truly one of one. I have not seen that happen. And maybe there is a history of a class or a school signing 2 5-stars, essentially 5 stars at the quarterback position. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of it. So that's interesting. For Puglisi to say, like, dog, I'm 10 toes down. I don't even know why you're texting me. That was the attitude I got today from young man. Young man was like, bro, you know the answer. Why are you on my phone right now, Brooks? You know my answer. And if you went back to that interview we did with him, I believe I asked him. I believe I straight up asked him, what happens? What happens if they land this other guy? I'm a dog, coach. Yeah, he is. He a DOG. He a dog. He got that dog in him. So we'll see about it. Hey, what a great show. What a great night for you guys. We got some more going on. But, man, hit that thumbs up button. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're doing all that good stuff. We appreciate you. I see this comment right now, and I want to address it. Is Pugga going to the Elite 11? Not that one. Is Pugga going to the Elite 11? I don't know. I'll ask him. I don't know if they've gone up there. And I don't know if they've gone up there and done their regional yet. So we'll have to find that out. I'll look at the schedule. I think you might have to go to PA or something to get in on that. But it is what it is. Let's talk weapons. There's some more sides of this discussion that we need to have with regards to Raiola commitment. It's not just, hey, does he push the other quarterback out? What's the other quarterback's feelings? Damn, that quarterback's a dog. Damn, Georgia got 2 good ones coming into their class in 2024. It's not just that, right? The number 1 player in America commits to your program, and suddenly you're in a new upper echelon of recruiting prowess. All right, so that means Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Wingo, 2 5-star or borderline 5-star. Jeremiah Smith's, we're going to talk about him in a second. Those 2 wide receivers, you're immediately in the mix now. Like that dude, those 2 guys were traveling and going on visits with Raiola during his initial recruitment process. Those 2 dudes are highly, highly interested in playing with Dylan Raiola. And here's what I will tell you. I am never, ever, ever one of these guys that's going to sit right here and tell you, well, he wants to play with his friends, coach, so that's what matters. That is all bullshit. 9 times out of 10, that is bullshit, okay? But that being said, it's a receiver and a quarterback. Like, these are relationships and rather productions that are directly correlated. How well your receiver plays is directly correlated with how good your quarterback is, and vice versa. These are 2, that's the only word, directly correlated. They are equal. One directly impacts the other. So this might actually hold some weight. When the number 1 receiver, by the way, Jeremiah Smith, y'all ask me all the time, Brooks, who's the best player you've ever evaluated? Brooks, who's the best player you've ever seen? The answer has been who? I'm gonna wait like 2 seconds. The answer has always been who. We'll see if the chat box can figure it out. Free month of Patreon for anybody who can answer it. The best athlete I've ever evaluated has been Broderick Jones. Easy answer for me all the time. He was a 6'4.5", 300-pound Adonis. The dude moved like you'd never seen before. He was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Shout out to Thomas Gilbert. Absolutely gorgeous. Most beautiful football player I'd ever seen. It might be Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith. That boy looked like he could play in the league tomorrow. That boy don't want nothing to do with nothing but football and dunking on kids. I've never seen a 6'3" receiver move like that. I've never seen a 17-year-old receiver with that type of muscle structure on him on a 185, 190-pound frame. The hands are exceptionally soft. The route running is polished as hell. The explosivity as an athlete in general is off the charts. Gorgeous. If you told me he was the best player in America and you said to hell with Dylan Raiola, he's number 2, I wouldn't even bat an eye. Matter of fact, Dylan might not even bat an eye. That dude's that good. That's how good Jeremiah Smith is. And that dude wants to play with Raiola, according to most. All right? Now, if that is all true, if that were my son, that kid would be playing for Brian Hartline. I hate to tell y'all that. I like Brian McClendon. I do. But if we're talking, it's like playing linebacker for Glenn Schumann. If your son is a linebacker, where's he going? He's going to play for Glenn Schumann. F all that other stuff. He's going to play for Glenn Schumann. Period. If you are a receiver and you are listening to the sound of my voice and Brian Hartline wants to coach you, you go do it. This channel will not like me here saying that. They will not hear me say that, and they will not like it. I don't care. We don't do nothing but spit the truth on this channel. So, I don't know if it's true. Maybe he ends up at Ohio State. But you just got into the room, and you were in the room already. You were going to get an official visit. He liked you, even without Raiola's commitment. He liked the University of Georgia. Brian McClendon was doing a good job there. Now your foot just ain't in the door. Now you kick that sumbitch down. Now, granted, Ohio State and Brian Hartline are sitting at the dinner table with mama and dada, but you're going to have to, you're in the room now. You're like staunchly in there. You are there for good. What else we got here? Oh, time for me to throw water on the fire now that we got a bunch of people in here. It's not fun. It's not fun being a realist. It's not fun, at least about these things. When 5 stars pop and we spend the first 20 minutes of tonight's show going, oh my God, look at the thrower. It's not fun to do what I'm about to do, but I have to do it. Okay, if I don't do it, no one else will, and you'll never have realistic expectations about the human being that they just got today in the form of a commitment. I would love to sit here right here today and say that I have all the answers that I could ever need about Dylan Raiola, that he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then I know for a fact that after 3 years at the University of Georgia, he will be the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. I would love to sit here and say that. I would love to sit here and tell you that I have all the answers and that is a known commodity, that it is fact. I don't think there's any doubt, if you watch that film with us today, that is what we could classify as a generational thrower. Okay? That dude throws the football as good or better than anybody ever. Okay? He can throw footballs that most people can't. That is the definition, in my opinion, of a generational thrower. When I talk about that, that's what I talk about. Now, granted, the word generational means once in a generation, and there sure as shit has been more of these generational throwers in the last couple of years than the word generational would connote. All right, I understand this. So when I rattle off these names, understand that the term generational does not really apply anymore, but this is how great the position is becoming. All right, these elite one-of-one throwers, they're no longer one-of-one. They are showing up and appearing more and more often. Okay, guys like that throw balls like that, they're showing up. They're not all over the place, but they're happening on a more consistent basis. I have 5 names here, Dylan being one of them. I have 5 names here that when they came out of high school, you could watch them throw and you would say, holy shit. Like if you ever walked up on them, you watch them throw and you say, yep. Like the ball, sometimes like one of these guys on the list, I was telling Jonathan Williams about this today. One of these guys on this list, the first time I ever watched him throw, I was breathless. That sounds exaggerated, but I was just making like giddy, childish noises. Like, whoo, 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 whoo. Like that. Because first of all, I love football like that. But second of all, that's what type of throwers these dudes have become. All right. So there's a lot of these. And I'm going to rattle them off for you. Spencer Rattler is that. Spencer Rattler makes throws that make you say, holy shit. Period, point blank. Always has. Since he was 16 years old, the ball comes out of that guy's hands differently. Caleb Williams. Duh. He's the one I was just talking about. First time at the Elite 11, I saw Caleb Williams throw. I knew. You knew. The first time, warm-up balls. The first time it came out of his fingers, you know he's on this list. Quinn Ewers Quinn Ewers is a one-of-one thrower. Quinn Ewers has an extremely, extremely special arm. Absolutely elite. Okay? Nico Lamalavela, the kid that committed and signed to Tennessee last year, I think he's got one of these arms. That ball comes out differently. When you watch him throw the football, it pops. It's noticeable. It explodes. There's life is the word we use. Okay? And Dylan Raiola is the other one. That's the fifth one. In my time doing this, the last 5 years, 6 years, those are the prospects that I remember coming out. That's a special arm. And look at those names, man. Those are 5 high school football players that had ungodly abilities. Those are prospects that we thought 5 stars, going to be great, right? But as you can see, man, just because you're an ungodly thrower does not mean you will be an ungodly college quarterback, Spencer Rattler. That's not how this works, okay? Just because you are an ungodly generational thrower, Quinn Ewers, does not mean you cannot care about the things that require to be great at the position outside of just throwing the football. That is not the position. The position of quarterback is not defined as thrower of ball, because if that's what it was, Quinn Ewers would be the greatest to ever do it. Okay, all 5 of these guys would be the greatest to ever do it because they throw it as well as anybody else ever has. Okay, I'm here to tell you, I put this at the bottom. I'm going to put this at the front. These are not questions. I don't have questions about Dylan Raiola. I just don't have answers. Okay, what does that mean? Well, I don't know how Dylan Raiola is with his teammates. Okay, I don't know that. I've never been around him. I don't know people who have. Okay, I don't know what junior tape looks like for Dylan Raiola. That stuff we watched at the beginning of the show was sophomore tape. We have not seen tape since 2021. I don't know. I don't know what junior tape looks like. It doesn't exist, and it's not his fault. It sounds like his former coach pulled the tape, so we never got to really watch it. I don't know what his knowledge barrier will be coming into college. I don't know how complex his offense was or was not. I don't know those answers, right? I don't know what football means to Dylan Raiola. Like, that sounds crazy, but I don't know. I don't know for a fact, right? I don't know why he's been to 3 different high schools and may go to a 4th. I don't know the answers to those questions. All of those statements I just said, I shouldn't even say questions. All of those statements I just said, they could have very easy answers, just like the one about the no junior tape. The no junior tape is because his coach didn't want to have it after he left the school. That's fine. The sophomore tape's plenty, coach. We got enough. We know he's a great thrower. We're good. We saw he could process information as a sophomore too. We're good. I don't know why he's been to 3 different high schools. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'm not saying that it's a problem. I'm just saying I don't know. We have to. In my opinion, I have to stand up here and tell you these things. We have to say that I have questions. Because right now I don't have answers. I don't have questions. Right now I don't have all the answers yet. Okay? We're going to get to see him in June out there at the Elite 11 finals. Hell, we may get to see him a lot this fall. And if you've been over on Discord under the Patreon umbrella, you know what I'm talking about. We might get to see this guy a lot soon. So we may have a lot of these kind of like non-answers answered. Okay, again, they're not questions to me. Questions are a quarterback commit I saw that was in the Big Ten Saturday at the Elite 11. That dude drops the ball to his damn quad and brings it all the way around. I mean, a full 6 to 12 type stuff going on with this kid. And I was like, whoa, question, problem, big, major issue. Where the hell did that come from? Not one of these things with Dylan Raiola. But everyone and their mama that got on a microphone today and talked about this, told you this kid was God's gift to football and that he's great, and they acted as if they know for a fact. Just like people did when they talked about Quinn Ewers. Just like people did when they talked about Spencer Rattler. Just like people do right now when they talk about Nico up at Tennessee, knowing good and damn well they know nothing about that kid from a college football perspective. It is okay, young people who want to do this, what I'm doing. It is okay, audience member listening to me, for me to come to you and tell you that I do not know. Okay? Anybody in this business that tells you they never miss and they're always right, full of shit. Don't listen to them. That's bad business. Those people don't need to be given opinions for a living. All right? The people who are honest enough to tell you that I don't know, those are the ones. Those are the ones you probably need to be paying attention to because they're not bullshitting. All right. Man, what a good show tonight. We're not done with you. I got 6 minutes to give you a thought and an observation about something that was in the news today. You know what? We're going to sit back and we're going to chill on this one. Stetson Bennett was in the news this week, and pardon the smile, most of you know why. You know, it became news this week that Stetson Bennett has not graduated. All right, spent 7 years in college football and did not graduate. Now, a lot of the initial reaction was to attempt to make a joke here, right? Like, dang, he really wasn't playing football, or wasn't playing school. He was playing football, all those good things. I didn't immediately make a joke. My brain went to how? Because I know two things. One, it requires about 120 college credits to graduate with your undergraduate degree, right? 120. I also know that it takes 12 credit hours to be eligible for the following semester. So as a football player, you have to every semester, not including summer. Okay, your fall and your spring semester, you, for a fact, have to pass at least 12 credit hours for you to practice in the spring and for you to play in the fall. So, quick math tells me if I do 12 credit hours per semester, I need 10 semesters to reach 120 to get my degree, right? That's 5 years. What did he do the other two and remain eligible? How? Math ain't mathing, cuz. So when I look at this, I think like, hey, like, dude, we don't have to wonder why you didn't graduate. I got to know how you cheated the system this way. That is mad crazy, bro. Like, whoo, man. Hey, kudos to Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett did what all of us wanted to do. All right. He won 2 national titles and never went to class, apparently. I mean, I'm not saying that. But here's what I will tell you. Okay. And you guys know this because you're on the channel. I spent 90 minutes with that dude. 90 minutes. I don't know nothing about him. Nothing. I spent more time with Stetson Bennett than any media member that has ever existed. I know nothing about him. I don't know what his hobbies are. I don't know what excites him. I don't know what he stands for. I don't know who he is. I don't know nothing about him. I think that's the way it is. And I've always said, eclectic's the word, right? He is a brand new version of himself every single day, is the way I've always viewed Stetson Bennett. But man, that's got to be so frustrating for anybody that's trying to invest in him, whether it be time or assets, right? If you're an NFL general manager and you sit down with Stetson Bennett, and after 40 minutes of talking to him, he gets up and you know none the matter. Like, you know nothing about that dude that just had an interaction with you for 40 minutes. Whew. That don't really like spark up the need for you to want to invest heavily into that football player, right? I think that's what happened to him throughout his process. As far as the graduation stuff goes, I just don't get it. I don't know how they did it. I think a couple of people need to be commended. The NCAA compliance department at Georgia must kick ever-loving ass for that dude to never have been ineligible, even though it was very, very close last spring. For Brooks Austin, for the Film Guy Network, patreon.com/Brooks Austin. Hit that thumbs up button. Love you. See you next time.